In today's video, I want to share with you about goal setting and goal achieving and why do so many people aimlessly go through life without even setting a goal or without even achieving a goal. And when I think about it, life is so short. This mortal life is so short. Time goes by so quickly. And yet you think that if we haven't achieved some form of a goal, has that life been wasted? So whether it be a small goal or whether it be a large goal, I think what it does, it aids our personal growth. And it's important that we grow. And why do we have goals? Some people might say maybe to have a better home, maybe to have a better car, maybe to have a better job. But these are the results of the goals. The goals are to allow us to grow. I remember the late Bob Proctor had spoke about this before in many of his seminars, but he had a great line and he said that, I think I had it written down here, that change is inevitable, but personal growth is a choice. Excuse me. Change is inevitable, but personal growth is a choice. So for each and every one of us, we're all going to, we're all going to get older. We're all going to look differently as we get older. Our finances change, our relationships change, but that's inevitable. But personal growth is a choice. So are we prepared to grow as a human being? Or are we prepared to stay stationary and just mundanely go through this life without having, maybe achieved goals that we truly wanted to achieve? Are we going to look back, when maybe we're in our 70s, 80s, or 90s, and maybe we're on our deathbed and say, wow, I could have achieved so much, but I just let life go by? I think that's the wonderful thing. When you do decide to set goals and achieve goals, you discover that you need to change. And that change just comes about because you become uncomfortable with having to make those changes. And being uncomfortable, okay, I know it's not a nice thing, but it also makes us become a better man or a better woman out there. Self-growth. As Bob said, change is inevitable, but personal growth is a choice. So ask yourself, are you prepared to grow? And when you're going after a goal, you're going after something that truly moves you. Like, do you feel that fire in the belly when you're going after that particular goal? I was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he's a few years married now, and I asked him, when did you first see your wife? And he said he'd met her at a wedding. And he said to me, Brian, he said, the first time I seen her, he said, I thought she was amazing. But he said, all I wanted to do, he said, was find out what her name was, where she was from, what she did, who her friends were, was she living far away, all those different things. And he said, I was like a missile going towards the target, he said. That was my goal on that particular day, to find out everything I could about this person. And I know I say it in a very jestful way, but it's true. This was his goal at that particular period of time. So you need to ask yourself, what are your goals? And have you that fire in the belly to drive you towards where you want in life? Because we need to go about things with urgency. As I said earlier on, that this life is very short. We need to create that urgency so that we can complete the mission that we want. And often I'm asked, well, what do I do next, or how do I start this off? And I say to most people, the first thing to do is sit down, get a pen and a blank piece of paper, and start to let your imagination flow. Remember, we're God's highest and greatest form of creation. We have higher mental faculties, which imagination is one of them. When we were children, each and every one of us had a desire maybe to be a nurse, a doctor, a pilot, an astronaut, a carpenter, whatever it may be. But we would sit there and we would draw the picture and we would colour it in. Or if you were in school, you would look out the window, and I'm sure the teacher, like they did to me on several times, they'd ask you, what the hell are you doing looking out the window? Concentrate in class. But your mind was in full flow, your imagination was in full flow, and you could picture something out there. But then we get distracted with things that are on in our that go on within our life. And I think one of the biggest things in goal setting and goal achieving is that we need to be so specific. Specifics are really important, so that we know truly what we want and how we can go and obtain our goal. I listened to a talk recently from Ed Milet, and I've written down here Let us just find it here. And Edit stated that the reason you need to be specific to hit your target is that when an outcome is non-specific, you cannot get what you want, or you lower the probability of hitting your goal. So being specific is incredibly important. So if you want to weigh maybe 150 pounds, or you want to earn €50,000 per month, that is absolutely perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. But you need to be specific. So if you want to earn 50,000 a month, how are you going to do that? How are you going to feel? How are you going to act when you earn 50,000 a month? Because you're not earning it right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to achieve that larger sum of income, you have to be feeling differently. You have to be acting differently. Your action steps need to be differently. But you need to have a clear plan of how you're going to go forward. And of course, that plan will change as you're going along because you need to make adjustments. But you need to have a clear vision in your mind of exactly where you want to go to. And I heard a quote before from George Bernard Shaw, and I had to write this down again. I don't have it to memory. And it said, "I do not believe in circumstance. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstance they want. And if they can't find them, they make them." And this brings me to a few different examples. The likes of Tenzing Norgay, the Sherpa Guide, and Sir Edmund Hillary, when they were climbing Mount Everest. I think it was 1954 that they achieved that goal, but in 52 and 53, they failed on that attempt to get to the summit. But they had a goal, they had a clear picture in their mind of what they wanted to do, and that was get to the top of that summit and to show that they were the first people to get there. They had, first of all, they'd made a decision, but they had the right attitude, they had a plan, they had persistence, and they just wouldn't give up. Although they failed twice in the most horrific conditions that you could imagine, but yet they achieved it. It's amazing to me as well how no one had got to the summit of Mount Everest before that, and yet afterwards so many people have achieved to get to the summit because one person showed the way. And when I mean by showing the way, is there a mentor that you see, or is there someone that you maybe follow on social media platforms that you feel are doing exactly what you would love to be doing? But you can do the exact same thing. Reach out to them. Ask them for their help. Ask them for their mentorship. If you don't want to go down the road of mentorship, can you emulate what they're doing? In your way, in your authentic way, unique to you, because it needs to be unique to you. It needs to be authentic to you because we're all so different. Like, I'm not going to be the same as the next person or my neighbor or some other great motivational speaker. They'll do it in a completely different way to the way I will do it, but I will do it completely different to the way that they do it. I often think as well that the two Wright brothers, Wilbur and Orville Wright, from Dayton, Ohio, they were two bicycle mechanics. On the 17th of December 1903, they brought us to a completely new universe. First flight. I think nowadays it's so easy, just book a ticket online and you can go anywhere around the world. But yet they were ridiculed. But again, they had a goal. They had a goal and they knew that they were going to achieve that goal, no matter if it was their family, their friends, their neighbours, people locally who laughed at them, wanted them signed into a mental institution. But they refused. And again, like Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, they were persistent. They made that decision and they had the right attitude. So do not let outside circumstances, and in today's world, I think the biggest distractions that we can have right now are the likes of Netflix, our telephones, some of our friends, the news itself. Like Netflix, a great social media platform, but we can get caught up in binge watching. But does that bring you towards your goal? Are we sitting at home watching somebody else on a screen living their goal, and yet we're sitting and we're not achieving our goal? Are our friends constantly contacting us when we're at work and stopping you from achieving your goal? Look at the news headlines. We cannot change all the different wars that are going on globally. We cannot do that. We can only change ourselves, and that's why it's about personal growth. That's why it's about goal setting and goal achieving. And it's important, as I stated there, that do not let circumstances stop you from achieving your goal, whether it be family or whether it be work or whoever it may be. And remember, you control everything from the inside. You're God's highest and greatest form of creation. You're made in His likeness. So you're magnificent. So you don't let the outside world control what's going on inside. We control everything from the inside. And as you become more creative, you will then be able to bring more value. You'll be able to provide more service for your clients or for your family or for the different relationships or the different business that you're in. So I hope this has been a help to you today. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like if you'd like to do that. And thank you for watching. Everyone have a great day.